ahead and get started. Alex, with invocation.
I'm going to do the prayer for victims of Hurricane Harvey and Irma. Dear God, we pray for the victims of Hurricane Harvey and Irma. We pray that you provide them with food, shelter, and all the help they needed. We ask that you give them wisdom and courage to make wise decisions during this time of hardship. And we ask you to provide peace, to bring peace, comfort, and love to those who have lost their lost one. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of the things we think, say, and do.
Is it truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Alex. All right. Wayne.
Well, besides our speaker guests today, we have Carl Ashby from the Greensboro Club. And we have a guest of Erica Parker, Felicia Angus.
Fantastic. Birthdays and anniversaries though, I see you have your notes. But I still have W's. Give them a computer.
We missed a few last week. Along with Bob Castle, on September 3rd, Mike Anderson had a birthday as well. A memory anniversary on September 1st, Rob Midget, 24 years. And wedding anniversaries last week. Randy and Jenny Elliott on September 2nd, 22 years of marriage. Matthew and Marley Foster on September 3rd. And Dan and Judy Quinn on the same day, 29 years. September 6th, Erica and Bo Parker celebrated 21 years of marriage. Okay. This week, today is Dale Hopkins' birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Dale. Happy birthday to you.
And tomorrow, Michael Hunt will be celebrating a birthday. September 10th, Ross Geller will celebrate 8 years with Gate City Rotary. And on the 13th, Lynn and Blake Hunt will celebrate 20 years of marriage.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dale. Couple of quick announcements. Number one, the family with Rotary, the Wake Forest game, which is the end of next month, but the deadline for sign up on those football tickets is tomorrow. So, does anybody, by a show of hands, is there any interest there? I hope so. Mike Conrad, Lisa.
What's the date of the game, Ralph?
It's that's what I was looking for. You know what? I'll let you know before the end of the meeting, because I'll Google it. But it's and you know, with this combination, it comes with a, it's against Florida State, and there's also a basketball game that's scheduled a little bit further in the season. It's kind of 2-for-1 deal. We did it last year. But
how much is it?
I don't know all that stuff. Why do you ask me all that stuff?
Everybody needs to
Hold on, I'll tell you what it is. I'm gonna tell you what it is.
It's in Winston-Salem, bro.
I think it's in Winston-Salem. Hold on. I'll get all that information out to you today. Sorry guys, Mike just mentioned it to me, and it is a good event. We participated in it heavily last year.
Yeah, last year the basketball game was with Duke. It was a good thing.
September 30th is the game. Thank you, Judy.
Even if you're not able to go, that game will be the football game.
Okay, great. So you'll be able to gamble on it. All right, Matthew, I know you've got an announcement.
Good morning, everybody. A week from this Saturday, the 16th of September 2017, Greensboro World Beers. Everybody's excited, I know. We'll meet there at 8:45 and pick up trash. So if anybody would love to join, it'd be great. I thought I sent the sign-up genius out last week, but I guess I was mistaken since I was the only one that signed up. So I'll do that again today, and just follow-up emails, make sure you got it. Also, middle of October, we're doing the Project Rebuild. I think it's, I don't remember when that is, so I'm not going to make it up. But
Matthew, since I'm so good with dates, I think I have that. Project Rebuild is the 6th and 7th and the 13th, 14th, depending on weather.
Sounds good to me.
So, thank you, Matthew. Any other announcements? Any from you?
Hey, I just want to talk up this coming Sunday. We're going to have our first practice cook for our Hunka Hunka Burn and Rub award-winning barbecue team. We need some help. After being questioned a few minutes ago about starting times and things like that, I've reconsidered. I'm not going to light that darn fire until about 7:30, I think. 7:30 in the morning, not 6:30. That'll give me time to get at least one item before I start playing with matches and fire on the back of my house, you know. But anyway, we need help. I'd like for a lot of people to come out if you can, please. We'll have enough food easily to feed 40 people, and I doubt we're going to get 40 of us. So please come on out, bring a snack, bring a beverage. I will need some help at 7:30. If you'd like to commit, and fine, I'll send out an email later today and ask people. I'll need help all day long, and we're forming a team, and this is the only way you can get your official Hunka Hunka Burn and Rub Smoking Hot t-shirt, okay? So anyway, we haven't ordered them yet, and we will, and we're going to hold it back. We may add something to it, I don't know what, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Another practice cook on October the 8th, and then Pig Stock is October the 28th, and we're going to win it again. I mean, somebody said, what are we going to do different this year? I said, well, we're just going to win it all. So there you go.
Good deal. Thanks, Chip.
Thank you.
Two quick things too. I want to thank everybody for hopefully getting their makeups done. We had our talk last week, and I know most of the people who are here are typically not having an issue with it, but thanks for all your efforts for your 505s and your logging in. Please continue. Also, the Hurricane Harvey relief. Thanks to everybody. It's amazing that the commitment and support we always have as a club. And we've collected a lot of checks today. We can still continue to do that. Probably write a check next week to the district. James, you got a question about the pool?
Football pool.
What's the check made out to for the hurricane?
It's Gate C Rotary Foundation. It's a check. And everybody, we got our first week of football pool on here, and I think.
Yes, so on the tables, James and I have put this week's football pool, and if you emailed me with a favorite team, your favorite team is on there. So we encourage you to play. We're super excited to kick off the season. We have some great giveaways. So next week it begins, and Tony has issued a challenge. He thinks you need to know nothing about football, and so it's on. Please join our board. So we do owe an apology to Dale. Dale, Michigan State's coming. This is the only week that they weren't on the football pool. So we'll see them.
And Mike, I left with Wisconsin off too, because they really don't matter.
All right. We had any other announcements before we start the review? Any other announcements? None. All right, Rotary review. Who's looking out? This is a real quiet table, so we know we got them. And then we'll do the other ones that are ignoring me back here. All right, the Middleton family. are the Kinkinka family, and since I'm closer to you guys, would you like to play or pass?
Yeah, baby. We got the strategy, baby.
We're already starting off with a twist. There are five. Now listen up, guys. There's
West Coast offense. Just
name
pass.
name something people are often chased by in the movies. Start with you, Ken. 5 answers. Name something people are often chased by in movies. Ding, ding, ding. Number 3, cops. Ding, ding, ding. Number 5.
Dogs. Is there anybody on our team writing these down?
Number 4, my guy. Ding, ding, ding. They only have 2 more left. The number 1 and number 2. No X's.
So I'm on one.
Blank. Ding, ding, ding. Not on the board. Oh, that is. That's a pen. How about monsters? Number 1 on the board. Yeah. All right. 1 answer. Left. 1 extra. Horses.
Chased.
King Kong. That's a good answer. And that's 3 X's. All right, guys. That's why I said all right.
Police.
We got
Monsters.
monsters, cops, bad guys, and dogs. And there's the number 2 answers left.
We're gonna go with cars.
Number 2 answer. Cars. All right, Buster with tickets and happy dollars.
You can win if you pass.
You got happy dollars?
Christy, yeah, baby.
Happy dollars for me. He's still reveling in his victory. Happy dollars?
Happy dollars.
Yes.
We got money to spend, baby. All right, happy dollars. Everybody give me that look, and then everybody started bringing their money. Sally!
My granddaughter, we just started at NC State last week. All her life, all her growing up life, she went to state games in her little cheerleader costume. And last week made the cheerleading team.
All right. Kind of a win-lose there. Made the cheerleading team, NC State sports. Gotta get that enthusiasm going.
I have several happy dollars. One is to Buster, thank you for letting us help you with your business cards. I don't know who you are. And also Mike Conrad, thank you for that. And Jim, thank you for meeting Jimmy at VIR. And the best day I was spending out there watching the race at VIR, so thank you very much.
That's kind of bittersweet too, because they made me business cards. I'm not even work there anymore.
Previous owner.
So I'd like to thank Walt Howe for giving me his payroll business.
Oh. Right.
I'm pretty stingy.
We'll talk later about salaries and things.
A little update to my marriage life. I've been married for 4 months. Yesterday, it was a little gloomy. My mother-in-law decided to buy a house 5 minutes away from my house. This is not here today, but he did the closing. So, special thanks to him.
Alex, we got some real estate agents here that can.
Time to move.
Chris also handles divorcing.
This past weekend was the Labor Day shootout at Bryant Park. Well, soccer stuff. A lot of people y'all know about that. My daughter's team won their tournament. She scored a tying goal that got them in the finals on a free kick from about 30 yards out, and she was MVP for the team. So.
All right.
Well, I guess I can't not show that Rose's team won their championship, but that was first in a very long time, and they're just happy to remember what it feels like to win.
She's got a Canadian dollar.
I just wanted to, where's David Craig? Where is he?
Hey.
Welcome back, sir. Thank you so much. Another successful Hope Ride. Hope you have many, many more.
All right. Well, you know, sometimes Grandpappy says things to me that were just so meaningful. I actually transfer them to work, and I decided to use this actual thing at work. And he would look me in the eye and he would say, "You are special. And if you need any more affirmation than that, get a puppy, because everybody else has work to do."
Guys, we've got an awesome presentation today with our guest speaker, but something very exciting and something we've always been involved with, and it makes us proud as Rotarians to involve youth as the RILA program. We've got 2 participants today from this last summer, and we're going to let them both speak for just a couple minutes and get them off to school. But Becca Hunt, I might add, this is Mike's daughter, and I guess he must make her nervous to speak, so he didn't show up on her birthday. Becca, go ahead.
Okay, hi, I'm Becca Hunt. I go to Page High School, which is like right down the road that way.
I'm sorry, I'm still playing with you.
And I think the most important thing I learned at RYLP was that I am the ESFJ. And that's really important to me because it kind of like demonstrates my leadership style and stuff, because I'm cross-country captain and president of my Key Club and the board of executives in my Lions Club and just like all this stuff. And I think it's really important for me to know that it's important to shut up sometimes. So I'm the oldest child and I'm kind of bossy. And when we were doing activities and stuff in RYLP, we did this certain one where we built off the ideas of other people in a group setting, and I think it was really important that my group leader, like, he did put an input and stuff, but he wasn't running it. He let the other people run it, because we had different ideas about his certain project, and I think that was a really smart thing to do. I need to do that more. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you. Our second is a northern student, James St. John.
Yes, my name is James St. John. I'm currently attending Northern Guilford High School. After that, I plan to attend UNCW, hopefully. Not sure what I want to major in, but hopefully I'll figure that out sometime this year, soon. My most memorable experience at the RYLP summer camp was just seeing all the other fellow delegates who are around my age and seeing what they've accomplished. To me, it was inspiring. It's like, they can do that, why can't I? They have a food drive at their school, I can do that at my school. Overall, it was absolutely amazing. This experience has been so thankful, and I'm so incredibly happy that I was able to attend to it. I'd like to thank you all for that. I can see myself bringing it back to school, whether it's as simple as being the leader in a little group project. And the most important thing that I learned is to play to people's skills. If you have somebody in your group who's good at art, let them manage the artwork, because I struggle with stick figures, to be honest. Art's not my specialty. Well, at least I like to think, I'm good at public speaking like this. So typically I'll help them with research, something like that, and then I'll present it. And so for me, the most helpful thing was learning to use the fellow peers in my group and use their talents to better the projects as a whole. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you, Ralph. Becca and Jamie, you guys are welcome to stay around for the program. If you feel like you need to scoot and get to school, I understand that too. Everyone here remembers what that's like, so feel free if you want to scoot, you can, and if you'd like to stay, we promise you a good program. Well, some of us were concerned with that, Chip. back in the day. Don Scales is going to present our program today. Don is the business manager for ArcBarks. ArcBarks is a vocational training program that specializes in working with adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. ArcBark is it's a dog treat company, and it's overseen by the ARC of Greensboro. Don is going to speak to us today about why vocational training for adults with disabilities is important to our community and what this program has done for the community, and I think that's going to be pretty interesting for you all. He has been the business manager for ArcBarks for 2 years. Prior to that, he has experience with the Institute for Public Leadership and with the city of Burlington. Don has a master's degree in public affairs from UNCG. Don is passionate about his involvement and support for adults with learning disabilities and is very committed to enriching their lives. Please give a warm Rotary welcome to Don Scales.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Okay, so ArcBarks is a vocational training program for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, but it's also a business, and we sell dog treats to help support our program. So I've kind of broken this presentation down into discussing what our program is and how it works, and then also kind of explaining our business and how that fits in with our program. So I'm just going to dive right into the program and really talk to you guys about what we're all about. So ArcBarks is a program under the ARC of Greensboro, which is a 501c3 nonprofit here in Greensboro. There's many ARC chapters all over the country. Some are at the county level, some are state level, some are local level, like the ARC of Greensboro. So they all operate different programs and work to enrich the lives of adults with disabilities. So they're kind of like the umbrella organization for ArcBarks here in the community, and really what we're all about is inclusion and involving adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities in the community. In the past, they've been put in institutions and really been kind of removed from society. So now the ARC is really about integrating them in with society and making sure it's an inclusive environment for these people. So one of the major reasons that ArcBarks exists and is a vocational training program is that adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities, or IDD, have significant barriers to employment. So often what happens is once they age out of high school, and that happens at 22, you can stay in high school until you're 22 if you have an intellectual or developmental disability. Once you age out, that's where the supports really drop off. There's not a lot of government or nonprofit supports in most communities, all over the country. So a lot of these people, they end up, just staying at home, watching TV, kind of eating a lot of food. They can gain weight, kind of become depressed, and really, that can honestly lead to early death, ultimately. So it's really important to have opportunities for these people after high school to keep them engaged. I mean, we all need to feel needed, right? And feel like we're contributing in some way to society. So that's why I think it's so important to provide a job training program, something that's engaging for this population. You don't want to just have them sit around in day programs, watching movies, playing games. They need to learn how to work and work with each other. So they face a lot of challenges. I mean, some statistics here, there's 13,000 people in our community diagnosed with IDD, so it's a pretty significant population, and ARC-BARCS is here to help that population. So in 2010, ARC conducted a find survey about kind of what the income was like for this population. As you can see here, a lot of them are unemployed. Only 15% of adults with intellectual or developmental disabilities are employed. So 85% unemployment rate. It's not very good. So that's where ARC-BARCS comes in. We got to provide training to help and improve that number. We want to get that number down. So. And then a lot of them, not only are they unemployed, but they're living in poverty, obviously because they're unemployed. So, only about a third are, reporting supplemental security income is their only source of income, and 21% are only reporting Social Security as their only source of income. So, they face a lot of challenges in just getting into the job market, and, if they don't make it into the job market, sometimes they're eligible for some benefits and money to come in, but it's not very much to live off of, and many of them, later in life, as like their parents pass away or family members pass away, they're left in group homes and environments that aren't really that good or engaging for them to live fulfilling lives. So that's why it's so important to provide job training. As I said, we do job training, and specifically we're helping people that aren't ready to go into the vocational rehabilitation program offered by the state of North Carolina. So that's a program that helps people get back to work. So you have people with, whether they have a disability, mental illness, maybe they even just got out of like jail or prison. Anything in vocational rehabilitation will try to rehabilitate these people and get them in jobs. Often the case is, though, that people with IDD, when they get out of high school, they're just not ready to enter vocational rehabilitation, which would be able to help them find a job. They just need a little bit of extra time and training, and that's going to vary from person to person. Some people might need, just like a year of coming in and having the work experience you get at ARC-BARCS. Some people might need several years. So it really depends on the individual, but the important thing is that we're trying to prepare people for getting into this VR process. So an additional thing we do is we enrich people's lives who are not maybe ever going to be able quite at the level to enter vocational rehabilitation. So some of the people in our program, they're just not quite going to ever be able to be in a competitive employment situation, but we still provide an enriching, engaging environment that's very similar to work. You have tasks and daily activities that you have to accomplish throughout the day, and that gives them a sense of fulfillment, like having a job. So I think those are two of the main really important components to ARC-BARCS. Another way ARC-BARCS really helps is actually the parents. It allows them to go in and work during the day to bring home income for the families, so that can help prevent families from sliding into poverty. So that's another important component of ARC-BARCS.
Yeah. Don, can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
How long would an individual likely stay in the program, or could they stay?
Well, we since there's the enrichment kind of component and then also the job training component, it really depends. If you're there maybe more for the enrichment component, I mean, we have people that have been in the program since it started in 2011. So, and some of those people actually, they have jobs in the community, but what they're doing is, they only work maybe like 8 or 16 hours in a job, and they have, a huge amount of time available during the week, and the families don't want them just at home doing nothing, and so they come into ARC-BARCS and work there and kind of continue to work on their job skills or enhancing them. But really, the answer to your question is it's up to the individual and their family, and how many enrollment slots we have available. So it's very situational. So, and speaking of someone who currently has a job and comes to ArtBarks, that's Emily. So Emily's, she's actually had a job since 2006 at Kohl's, and she works there every week, and she's really great. She always helps our new bakers that are enrolled in the program like learn the ropes, and she's incredibly helpful. But yeah, I mean, she's been involved in our program for several years, and she comes to ArtBarks, like as I said, to continue to develop her like social skills and just kind of continue to like work on her social and customer service type skills. So she's an example of someone who's kind of in the program, just who has a job and is just trying to kind of continue to develop skills and make sure she maintains a high level of skills for the workplace. Kayla is someone who just joined the program only about 6-7 months ago at this point, and interestingly, she's someone we think that won't be in the program too much longer probably. I mean, she might be in there a year, a little longer, but I really see her probably entering the vocational rehabilitation process soon. She's someone who's here who's really just out of high school, who just needs some extra training, and she's really eventually going to be in a find competitive employment and work. So we're just really working on kind of getting her used to working, coming in, like having a routine, following instructions in the workplace, things like that. But she's very skilled and has picked up everything very quickly. And then finally, we have Addie, who's been in the program several years as well, and she's there more for the enrichment component. So, Addie's there for kind of having, the repetition of coming into a workplace and having that kind of enriching environment and the fulfillment that comes with that. And, she's working on, just following procedures and learning to follow instructions. And really teamwork is a big deal that we work on with everybody. It's not just about completing tasks in our bakery. It's about learning to work with other people and like workplace professionalism, like what is important in the workplace. So and how to be respectful of our peers. So that's another really important kind of, I guess, soft skill that we work on at ArtBarks. And I'm going to dive into a little bit more specifics regarding what training we provide. So we are a fully functional real-world bakery. We're on Spring Garden Street. We have commercial mixer, oven, peanut butter grinder. We have all food processors, everything you would need to basically run a real-world bakery. And what our enrollees in our program learn about is like how to use all that equipment safely and independently, if possible. And we also, we have customers come in, so they get to have that interaction with the public and learn how to, greet customers, explain what products that we have, and handle cash and do the full range of transactions that you would need to do to be a cashier. Another thing is, we also sell our product wholesale, so we're constantly putting together wholesale orders, shipping them out. So, there's everything involved with that, from, creating the invoices to doing the packing slips, making sure you're fulfilling the order accurately, and then, even for some people, just taping up the box and learning how to do that correctly. Things that would be fairly intuitive to us that just take a lot of repetition and learning for some of our people to grasp. So those are some of the kind of more specific hard skills learned at ArtBarks, really just everything from making the treats, the dough, everything through to the end process of shipping it out and working with customers. And finally, we do also do community events, so sometimes there's that interaction where we get to go out, set up an event booth. We did one recently at the Natural Dog, where we had a booth and handed out samples and really tried to pitch the product to people. And so I think that's one of the great things about ArtBarks. We have like a range of skills that we offer to teach people, and also there's this sort of social engagement and life skills that also are offered. So These are some of our numbers over the years. So in 2015, 2016, we had 26 people enrolled in our program. Of those, 6 are currently employed. 2 are kind of in the vocational rehabilitation process. And that year, we've continued to refine our program over the years. And when you're working with folks with intellectual and developmental disabilities, you really have to break things down and make everything very visual. So we use software called Boardmaker to create these visual schedules that they might have an image of what tasks you're going to be working on the day. So you'll have your sheet, and it'll have a picture of you. So it'll say Don at the top, and then I'll walk in and look at it, and then it would have maybe a treat cutter first thing. So I know, okay, I'm making treats today. And then maybe beneath that, you would have something like a packing slip, and you're, okay, so I'm going to do shipping later. And then you might have the peanut butter grinder, an image of the peanut butter grinder, so okay, at the end of the day, I got to get the peanuts out, grind them, make the fresh peanut butter, bag it, and put it in the refrigerator. So we try to break everything down in a easy to understand kind of linear pattern for our guys to understand. So. And that was one of the major developments for the 2015-16 fiscal year. And this year, actually, we've continued to increase our visual cues. We've really added more augmentative communication technology. So we're continuing to use different apps and services to help foster communication between the staff and the enrollees. Some people can't even speak in our program, so we're really working on communication with them because that's so important for learning. So each year we try to continue to refine our program, make it better, and make it so almost anybody could be in Art Barks and really get something out of it. So I'm going to just do some quick updates about the business. It's definitely developed rapidly over the last 5 or 6 years. And initially when we started making the product, we were just hand rolling it out. So we had just kind of normal rollers with guides on the side to help make sure the dough was a consistent thickness. However, some of our guys are still having trouble doing it that way, and they might run one of the guides across the dough so it would imprint into it. So we eventually found a tortilla sheeter that we then were able to use to put the dough through at a nice consistent thickness. So that really is enhanced the quality of the product and consistency of the product. So we're always looking for kind of adaptive solutions that work for our bakers to make sure that we have a consistent product. So that's been a huge breakthrough. We also have these cool plastic 3D printed dog treat cutters that there's 6 of them in a row, and you can put them on top of the dough and just roll over it, and it'll imprint 6 dog bones very quickly. So that's another way we've been able to speed up the manufacturing process. We obviously don't want to mechanize anything because it's all about handmade dog treats. So, and that's part of our mission, but we do want to make as many handmade dog treats as possible to support our mission within reason. So we're always kind of looking for innovative ways to sort of speed that up while still maintaining the handmade nature of the treats. And we've added a few other local suppliers like Spring Garden Bakery. I actually used to work there while I was in graduate school, so I had a connection there. And that's where we source a lot of our ingredients from, like our flour, oats, pumpkin, applesauce, any of the bakery ingredients we need. So that's been a great partnership. And Deep Roots, we also get many raw ingredients from. All of our ingredients are human grade, so honestly, I've gotten hungry before taking a little bite of a treat, and you know what? They just need some sugar, and I'm telling you, we could have some pretty solid peanut butter cookies. But, no joke. Other businesses in the community we've partnered with are Natty Greens. We developed a new treat called our Brew Barker with them, which uses spent grain from their Buckshot Amber Ale in the dog treat. So that's been a really cool partnership, and they've really been a great supporter of ours. And I know over at their new location at Revolution Mill, they have some of our Brew Barkers for sale. So that's a really cool partnership. And yeah, I guess maybe it's just me, but I'm trying to partner with all the breweries in town. You know, that's a delivery I take care of personally. So Joy Mongers is another one, and they've been selling our mini peanut butter barkers up at their bar. Well, not selling, but they're giving them to any of the dogs that come in, and we supply that for them. Little Bower Park, we've done several events there. They've been great. They have a yappy hour for their little dog park that we come to sometimes and hand out treats and meet with folks. And then the Guilford County Animal Shelter has actually been really great, and they've just sold our treats there. We get all the profits from them and everything. And Lonely Park Filling Station is another cool example of, it's a restaurant in the community that we make custom treats for. They're circular treats that imprint their logo into the treats that they hand out for free to people, you know, if you're out there on their patio with your dogs. So community partnerships are very important for our parks, and one of the things that really sustains our program. So yeah, I touched on the Brew Barkers, and you know, we're also working on a pumpkin treat and a grain-free treat. A lot of people there's kind of a movement within the dog treat world going grain-free, because a lot of people feel that the gluten in these treats can have a negative impact on their dog. Whether or not there's a scientific basis for that, I have no comment. You know, actually, interestingly enough, the dog treat industry often mirrors trends in human eating. So, you know, everybody's going gluten-free now, and you know, the dog treat industry is a few years behind, but it's starting to catch up, and they're moving away from products containing wheat, soy, or corn in them. So, we're trying to kind of shift to make sure we stay aligned with the market. And finally, we've started a new sponsorship program. We're just partnering with businesses in the community, like the Ear Center, Cobb Animal Clinic, All Pets Considered, and many others to create a sponsorship program where we recognize the business, and they make a donation to our program, and then we actually sticker the top of our boxes to say, you know, the Ear Center or Cobb Animal Clinic proudly supports Barks. So that's another cool initiative that we have going. That I think is really going to pay off this year for us. So, and we finally have an updated e-commerce website that I'm pretty proud of. That's been my time managing, but we had a 19-year-old intern from Germany come in and do it for us about a year ago. So that's been a huge help in helping increase our revenues and online sales. And just want to say thank you guys for having me, and I've enjoyed speaking with you all. Does anybody have any questions?
Got two. One has to do with supply and demand, and the other has to do with economic incentives for employers. When our park first started a few years ago, supply was exceeding demand, and they were being given away to the community to create awareness. Your comment about increasing production would lead me to believe that that's no longer the case. You've got a demand exceeding supply situation. Is that true at this point?
Well, I wouldn't say that's 100% true, but we're much closer to the demand exceeding the supply. I mean, we have a nice, the treats have a good shelf life. It's actually a year. So we do want to build up a good amount of inventory for the holiday season. So we have a lot of inventory on hand, but I don't think there's a situation where we're going to have to be giving it out in the community or anything.
Good, that's encouraging. And secondly, on the economic incentive front, you showed the high unemployment rate in this population. Rotary, of course, is business leaders, and we've got a strong Rotary presence in this county. Are there economic incentives to employers to hire people with intellectual and developmental disabilities?
Yes, there are, and I'm not an expert on that subject, but I do know for a fact that there are tax breaks for hiring people with disabilities. So I think that is something you can deduct from your expenses, but I don't know too much beyond that. But I know there are some incentives out there. I don't know from a business perspective if they're enough to really maybe push someone over the edge to do that. That would be a good question. Yeah.
What percentage of your revenue sustains you, and what percentage of your sustainability comes from donations?
Well, right now, I mean, we're about at, I would say, what's the last time I checked? I would say it's probably about, you know, a third from donations, a third from treat sales, and a third from tuition fees. So it's pretty, I mean, pretty well spread out. So, yeah. And we're also have the sponsorship program that we started as well. So, and I think that has good value for people that are interested in, you know, making their business, bringing awareness to their business, and, you know, that they're, you know, a member of the community who supports this population. So.